Hi guys, Model Muffet here. How you doing? Today I'd like to say hi to two old friends. One is Gotham City Impostors. Haven't played this game in quite some time. I've been on Far Cry 2, I've been on Borderlands and Assassin's Creed and all sorts of different stuff. So anyway, I jumped in a couple of games, could only get some games of deathmatch, which is a bit boring for me. But they were fun, you know, it was good playing it again. Damn shame we can't get any games of Fumigation going. Anyway, the other friend that I'd like to say hi to is prophecies of doom that don't come true. So we have another prophecy of the world is going to end. No, it fucking isn't. Well, yeah, it will one day. But nobody knows when that one day is going to come, right? I believe that we can trust a lot of scientific predictions about climate change and things like that, and they may accelerate the end of the world, but it's probably going to be some cataclysmic event, like something happening to the sun, or you know, a stray asteroid coming and causing enough damage that it wipes the human race out. But what I want to ask you today is, why do you believe the things that you believe? Because some people actually believe this shit, and they don't just believe it, but they actually base their lives on it. They live their lives on this expectation that, you know, the world is gonna end. Fucking crazy way to live it, if you ask me. I base my belief systems on a couple of simple scientific rules. The crazier the claim, the crazier the evidence is needed to justify it. So, you know, if you're gonna tell me the world is gonna end next Friday, that's a big, crazy claim, and I'm going to need some big, crazy evidence to support that. Otherwise, I am not going to begin to believe in it. I also go by the maxim that claims without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. If you have no evidence whatsoever for a claim that you have, or a belief that you have, fine, you believe what you want to believe, but you're not going to convince me. Now, I guess, as always, that This is going to kind of bring us to the world of religion, and I will say this again, although I've said it many times before. I'm not here to mock anybody's beliefs or to mock their religion. But it does seem to me that people believe things with absolutely no evidence at all, apart from the fact that this is what I grew up with. Well, when we grow up, we have all sorts of crazy claims put to us, and they're enjoyable and they're fun. You know, fairy tales, monsters, Santa Claus, all that kind of stuff. Usually though, by the time we reach adulthood, we discard those. We enjoy them for what they were, but then we discard them. Religion doesn't occur like that. Now, why is that? There is actually a lot of evidence to suggest that religion has its roots in evolutionary processes. Now, I'm going to give you an example about the things that we believe from our parents. When we're children, babies, toddlers, our parents tell us things in a very authoritarian voice if those things are potentially harmful to us. And what happens is then we learn to instinctively believe that voice. So when our parents say, "Get off that fire!" you know, we get off the fire. But we learn to associate a certain tone of voice with something that is true. Now, when they're telling us about Santa Claus or pixies or elves at the bottom of the garden, they're not using the same kind of voice. So as we get older, those sort of ideas are easier to shed. But we do learn to listen to authority. And we pass on that authority to other areas, with schools, our teachers, and then the people who have power over us, if you like, there. And we're also learning the same thing from going to church. If you're in a family who goes to church on a regular basis, you will have those ideas implanted in you from a very early age, but in the same authoritarian type of voice. They won't actually be yelling at you, although sometimes they do. Some preachers are kind of like that. But the tone of voice that they're using is saying to you on a subliminal level, this is true, you need to believe this. And those ideas are actually harder for us to shake off when we get older. Now, if we apply rational thinking, we can see that in a Muslim country, your overwhelming chances you're going to grow up as a Muslim. In a Christian country, the overwhelming chances you're going to grow up as a Christian. And then we can break those down even further, because both Muslims and Christians and Jews as well, they all have their own little sects, their own little groups. So people will grow up to believe that Lutheran is the only way to go, or Catholic, or Southern Baptist, or whatever. Now, if you're in that that way of being, that you believe in a religion, but it's the only one that you were exposed to, and more importantly, you were exposed to that as a young child, I'm not telling you you're wrong in your beliefs. I know that I can believe something different, but I can't say to anybody you're wrong in your beliefs. What I can say to you is, do you ever think that maybe you should question them? And that when you look at the founding tenets of whatever religion you're in, or whatever belief structure you have, that there actually isn't any real evidence for those, apart from people yelling at you, it is true. What do you think, guys? I mean, should we just hang on to whatever beliefs we are given as we grow up? Or should we apply rational thinking, what I like to call critical thinking, and that we actually critique the ideas that we grow up with? I did this. I grew up in a Catholic family, and the older I got and the more I learned about critical thinking and actually analysing stuff, I just thought, this is complete rubbish. I'm sorry, but it, you know, to my mind, it just came across as complete rubbish. Authoritarian rubbish. Money-making rubbish. You know, how many churches do you know that will have a fund for a new roof, or they always seem to need money from you, don't they? And yet the churches are the most powerful and richest organisations in the world. Crazy. I think it's crazy, you know. You're welcome to disagree, as always. I'm always open to discuss elements like this on my pages, you know, in the comment section of my channel. But please apply some actual sound argument. Don't just say X is true. I believe X to be true, and it is true. Because the conversation really has nowhere to go from there. Anyway, we're coming up to the end of the game. So, whatever your faith is, whatever your beliefs are, have a nice Christmas, guys. Bye.